Jim Bridger, Part 10. Unquestionably, Bridger's claims to remembrance rest upon the extraordinary part he bore in the explorations of the West. As a guide, he was without an equal, and this is the testimony of everyone who ever employed him. He was a born topographer. The whole West was mapped out in his mind, and such was his instinctive sense of locality and direction that it used to be said of him that he could smell his way where he could not see it. He was a complete master of the plains and of woodcraft, equal to any emergency and full of resources to overcome any obstacle. In fact, in all my experience, I never saw Bridger or any other of the voyagers of the plains and mountains meet any obstacle which they could not overcome. While Bridger was not an educated man, still any country that he had ever seen he could fully and intelligently describe, and he could make a very correct map of any country he had ever traveled over. He could mark out its streams and mountains and the obstacles in it correctly, so that there was no doubt and no trouble in following and understanding it. He never claimed knowledge that he did not have of the country or of its history or surroundings, and he was positive in his statements in relation to it. He was a good judge of human nature. His comments upon people that he had met and been with were intelligent and seldom critical. He always spoke of their good points, and he was universally respected by the mountain men and looked upon as a leader also by the Indians. He was careful to never give his word without fulfilling it. He understood thoroughly the Indian character, the peculiarities, and superstitions. He felt very keenly the loss of any confidence in him or his judgment, especially when acting as a guide, and when he struck a country or trail that he was not familiar with, he would frankly say so, but would often say that he could take our party up to the point we wanted to reach. As a guide, I do not think he had his equal on the plains. Bridger was 77 years of age when he died. He was buried on the Stubbins Watts farm a mile north of Dallas, not far south of West Point, Missouri. Two of his sons, Felix and William, were buried beside him. It was not until 1902 that General Dodge learned for the first time where the celebrated plainsman was buried, and that his grave was neglected and almost forgotten. He immediately became interested, and through the efforts of himself and other admirers of Bridger, the Mount Washington Cemetery Company of Kansas City donated a prominent and beautiful burial site, and the remains of the noted guide were removed to it. On December 11, 1904, an imposing monument was unveiled by Bridger's great-granddaughter, Marie Louise Little. It bears the following inscription: 1804, James Bridger, 1881, celebrated as a hunter, trapper, fur trader, and guide. Discovered Great Salt Lake, 1824. Discovered the South Pass, 1827. Visited Yellowstone Lake and Geysers, 1830. Founded Fort Bridger, 1843. Opened overland route by Bridger's Pass to Great Salt Lake. Was guide for exploring expeditions Albert Sidney Johnson's Army in 1857 and G.M. Dodge and U.P. surveys and Indian campaigns 1865 to 66. This monument is erected as a tribute to his pioneer work by Major G.M. Dodge. Jim Bridger was a true type of the man necessary as a trailblazer to great unexplored regions of the mighty West. He had many imitators, but no peers. He was the uncrowned king of all the Rocky Mountain scouts, guides, trailers, trappers, and plainsmen between 1830 and 1870. End of Part 10 and end of Jim Bridger biography.